Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast and my tiny office here in the UK. How have you all been? Do you have any holidays planned? Remember, send me those emails of the pictures of your travel or just tweet me at Neil C. Hughes so I can brighten up my office over here and maybe see the world through your eyes. How cool would that be? And a big thank you to Ted in Austin, Texas and Brett here in the UK that noticed that my voice sounded different in the intro and outro for the last two episodes. I'll let you into a little secret. That is because I had recorded the interview on my Blue Yeti mic before I left on my holiday. And I recorded the intro-outro whilst on holiday by plugging a different mic, which is a portable Shure microphone that you just plugged right into the bottom of my iPhone and just allows me to record and edit while on the move. You guys really don't miss a trick, do you? Speaking of which, I also got to give a big thank you to Francesco in London, who noticed that the Scan Marker episode cut out after around 16 minutes. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was completely unaware that that episode did not upload correctly and that the file had seemed to have crashed halfway through. And I still would be unaware if it wasn't Francesco, so a big thank you for letting me know. And if you did miss the second half of that Scan Marker interview, the file has been re-uploaded and it is an incredibly cool product there that just allows you to highlight text in a magazine or a book and it just wirelessly appears on your screen, whether that be a computer, laptop, tablet or phone. It's an incredibly cool conversation too, so I really do hope you do revisit and check that out if you did miss it. But on with today's show. And I've invited Jeff Kupietzky, CEO of Powerinbox, onto the show today. As the CEO of the Israeli-based AdTech platform, Jeff reveals how emerging technology is creating new revenue streams for businesses that can all be best utilised through the convergence of AdTech and Martech. So he's going to join us today and provide tips for combining the two types of technologies to have the biggest impact on business results. In addition, he also runs a 100% remote international team. And I want him to discuss how his company leverages technology to provide a positive remote work experience. There are so many great talking points in today's episode, so I hope you enjoy and take away a little bit of value from the conversation too. But enough from me. I'm all excited to be back in front of the microphone, aren't I, after a week off? So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Israel so we can speak with Jeff Kupietzky, CEO of Powerinbox. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure, Neil. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Jeff Kupietzky. I'm the CEO of an innovative technology company called Powerinbox. We're kind of a unique company in the ad tech space in that we're all remote employees, and we work diligently on behalf of our partners, primarily publishers, to help them find alternative and emerging sources of traffic to better monetize and create new revenue streams. And we'll get into a little bit more of that as we go through this discussion.
Now, many of the world's leading brands, and like you said, publishers, rely on Powerinbox email personalization and monetization to drive real engagement, revenue and results. But for anyone hearing about you guys for the very first time, can you just help set the scene and tell the listeners what problems you're solving for your customers and also what makes you unique from other inbox solutions out there?
Sure. If you're a publisher, and many of them are facing these significant challenges to their business models, they've relied very heavily on Facebook and social media for their traffic. And as algorithms change in those environments, they're seeing a big hit on their traffic, and they lose control over time on their ability to monetize their audience as well. And so while clients turn to us, we're helping them find these alternative and emerging sources of traffic. It's ways for them to get more control over their audience, and most importantly, control over how they monetize that audience. Perhaps as an example, I'll share one of our clients, Salem Media Group, which is the largest faith-based media company in the world. They have over 3,000 different newsletters. And some of the challenges they were facing is that with the complexity of their audience and the fact that they were very reliant on social media, they were looking to invest further in email as a way to directly connect with their end users and have control over that channel. And what's great about email, unlike any other type of channel, like either search or social media, there's no large player who controls that channel. The brand or the publisher has the direct relationship with the end user through the email address. And even if the user ends up using or accessing their email on a different device or with different times of day, they'll always be able to access that publisher content, because for the most part, people don't change their email address, even if they change their physical address. So by helping them invest further on the email side, they had more control over their audience and a better ability to monetize that audience as well.
I think it's also worth highlighting that you're supporting over 2.5 billion emails a month from leading marketers, publishers and brands. So are there any use cases that you can share with us that will help listeners visualize how you're making a difference for these brands?
Sure. In some of these cases, I'll just throw out some like Sign Up Genius or Curiosity or even Hearst. They have a direct sales force that they're out selling advertising primarily for their web traffic. As that web traffic, though, is under pressure because social media is not generating the visitors, they're looking for alternatives. And as they look to email, they come up with a technical challenge, which is their direct sold ads can't run in an environment like email. And that's when they turn to Powerinbox, because what we help them do is take the same exact creatives, the same campaigns they're running on the web, and seamlessly allow them to integrate that into email. They don't need to manage a separate system. They don't have to track the campaigns using any different metrics. In fact, for many of these clients that are using Google's DoubleClick for Publishers, DFP, it's the exact same system that they can use, and we integrate that inside email for them. So that provides for them now a larger amount of traffic for the same direct campaigns that they're already selling, and the ability to use one single console to manage those campaigns in real time.
So can you also tell me about how these emerging technologies are helping to create new revenue streams for businesses that could be utilised through the convergence of, let's say, AdTech and Martech, for example?
Yeah, that's a topic that we're real excited about. In fact, just for the listeners, we have a free copy of the Convergence of AdTech and Martech that's available on our website, which I'll provide at the end how people can access that. But our view is that what the MarTech world brings is a deep understanding of a specific customer. Typically, it's your current customer, and you're looking to retain them or upsell them. And what AdTech brings to the picture is a very scientific understanding of the data and how to find the pockets of unmet needs. We're seeing those two worlds converge, meaning people are using the sophistication and analytics of AdTech, but applying it to the MarTech world, where you know more about your end user. Where we see that convergence kind of really accelerate is by using the email address as the key to a user's identity. If you can imagine the scenario that once we know who the specific user is, whether they're a current client or just a prospective client, the marketing can be done in the same way, finding what they're interested in and hitting them with the right message at the right time over the right device. And that's really where we get excited, because email is at the forefront of that convergence, because it starts with the email address as its unique form of identity. So the more you invest in the email channel, the more you really are understanding the complete world of your customer, and then are able to contact them before they become a customer or once they become a customer for upsell and retention.
Now, one of the things that really impresses me about what you guys are doing is how you lead a 100% remote international team. So can you tell me how, as a company, you leverage technology to provide a positive remote work experience?
Absolutely. So we're obviously using tools like this one, Skype. We use Slack. We use lots of video conference. We use all our applications are obviously in the cloud. But I think it's really more of a culture. We have tremendous respect for the individual. We give them the full freedom to work anytime they want, anywhere they want, and we only measure their outcomes. As I say to our employees, we don't know when they work, therefore we're just able to measure what they work on. And that turns out to be very liberating for our folks, because it gives them the respect and independence to say, I'm going to get my work done, and I can control completely my schedule to do that. And we found that that actually attracts a certain type of employee, somebody that does want to socialize and does want to, interact with others, but is very confident in their ability to both structure and execute their own work without a lot of oversight. And so for our company, we end up finding folks that have experience, that are generally more mature in their work kind of careers, and therefore able to best take advantage of this very flexible work environment.
I love what you're doing there, and I would imagine as well that it really helps with introducing diversity of thought to your company when you're working with people from all over the world, and I think that's so important now. But what have been your biggest challenges when running a team this way?
Well, clearly, you don't want to be 100% remote and never have any of the interaction. We try and bring our staff together at least once every 3-4 months. I actually refer to those as on-sites, because a typical off-site, you're all together and then you go leave somewhere. Since nobody ever sees each other, when we get together, we're really on-site together. But it really is important for us to recognize that people do need the social interaction. They do need to form the relationships. And by us as a company facilitating that in person, it goes a long way to make the time when they're not in person as productive as it can be. So we focus those on-sites a lot to have fun together. We typically will do a survey and find the city that most people want to go visit, and then try and sample as much as we can at the local city, whether it's the dining or entertainment or tourist attractions, so that when we do have those meetings, people are having fun together as well.
So what are the biggest opportunities on the horizon for Powerinbox, and what makes you excited and want to jump out of bed each morning?
Yeah, well, I mentioned our theme is around helping our publisher partners identify emerging and alternative sources of traffic. And we get very excited when we start to think about all the different ways that people are going to be accessing their audience in the future. People might not realize, but when you start looking at email, which has generally been around for a long time, there's some new mechanisms that look very similar to that. One example would be push notifications on, let's say, a Chrome browser, whether that's mobile or desktop. It's a unique way for publishers to interact with their users when they might not be on site. Another way would be chatbots, another new kind of technology that people are just getting comfortable with, how they interact with their audience and provide them the content that they want. Other places that we get excited about helping them monetize would be things like lock screens. So kind of what's kind of on people's cell phones when their screen is kind of shut down, or potentially new things like newsreaders, like an Apple News and others that people are starting to see are great places to put content and then monetize that. So our view is anytime a publisher is looking for a new place to place their content, that's a great opportunity for us to help them in the monetization of that content as well.
So on your website, it says that users can be up and running within 15 minutes. So can you just talk anyone listening through that process and how easy it really is to get up and running and start driving results after sign up?
Yeah, and the real reason for that is everything we do is assisted by our team. We are always assigning, whether the person is a publisher or an advertiser, someone dedicated on the team who will help them through the process. And because typically the code is relatively refined and very specific to their platform, we've done most of the heavy lifting to make sure it's compatible, to make sure it's been tested. And really the work on their end is just the final integration. So literally sometimes it's as easy as pasting code that we've provided into an email template or onto a website, and that's all they need to do to get up and running. Everything else from there is accessing work that we've done on their behalf. So whether that's a customized portal to see their statistics or a customized portal where they can access or control the information that they're showing to their end users. So all that are things that we've automated on our side to make it easy for them to get up and running. And because we don't require contracts or minimums, it really is very easy to do testing as well, because there's no commitments that we're asking for. We believe in performance. So if we're performing, our clients will stay with us. And if they're not happy, obviously they'll vote with their feet.
Now, although you do run a 100% remote team, I do know that you all like to get out and about, so you are going to be attending a fair few summits and conferences over the next few months. And you also mentioned the ebook for AdTech and Martech. So could you just tell the listeners a little bit more where they can find you on the road, and also where they can find you online, or maybe reach out to your team if they've just got any questions or want to start or want to carry on that conversation that we started today?
Sure, I appreciate that. Easiest way is we have an email address specifically for things like this called sayhello@powerinbox.com. So just sayhello @powerinbox.com. Our website is www.powerinbox.com. We'll be at a number of different events. Anybody that might be in the New York area for Digital Publisher Innovation Summit, July 18th and 19th next week, or the Women in Media Conference in Los Angeles on July 26th. We'll also be presenting at the MailCon Conference, July 28th. And finally, if you didn't meet at any of those three, we'll be at Affiliate Summit East, also taking place in New York, July 29th through the 31st. If any of those did not work, I'm happy to also connect with folks. My email address is jeff@powerinbox.com. And we really appreciate the opportunity to get to know your listeners, Neil.
Fantastic. Well, a huge thank you for coming on today. I really love the fact that you're operating a 100% remote international team, and you're really excelling at it as well. And I think judging people on results rather than just sat at the same desk every day and how many hours they're sat there is such a forward-thinking approach. But more than anything, just a big thank you for coming on and sharing your story today.
No, it's my pleasure, and thanks so much for reaching out.
Powerinbox provides publishers, marketers and agencies with dynamic, real-time and personalised email solutions, which ultimately increase email engagement and revenue. It was great hearing about how companies are using this technology to monetize their emails, newsletters, offers, and easily create incremental revenue, along, of course, with that dynamic and personalised content. But it's the management of a remote workforce that really excited me about today's conversation. Because I think we're seeing the beginning of the end of checking into an office and sitting at the same desk, rotting away until you pick up a wristwatch in 30 years. And that's got to be a great thing, right? Employment where your working hours fit into your lifestyle rather than the other way around. But hey, I'm rambling again here, so let me know your thoughts on any of the points raised in today's episode, or indeed anything at all. As you know, my door is always open to you all, and it's so important that everybody listening feels a part of these daily conversations too, because this is the only way that we're going to learn from each other. And also remember, keep those holiday photos coming in and let me see the world through your eyes, and I'll return back tomorrow with another great guest. But I need to curb my excitement a little bit and pace myself. I don't want to burn out within a couple of days of being back off my holidays. So I'll return again tomorrow with another great guest. But until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.